Thanks for checking out this video. I thought I would do a little bit of a Halloween special this year in the form of a Let's Play of Castlevania II, Simon's Quest. Now, I'm going to do this in 3 parts because it is a little bit of a long playthrough, beginning to end. Part 1 will be Friday, Saturday will be Part 2, and Sunday, Halloween, will be the final part where we defeat Dracula once and for all. In addition, we will be going through the game, beginning to end within the 7-day limit, which gets us the best ending, which is incidentally the horror movie style ending. So we're going to go through that. And I do have, of course, the cartridge, which I played through a ton of times. This is one of my favorite Castlevania games. But this year I thought I would do something different. Thought instead to do the Famicom Disk System version of the game. This version has different music, but it's ultimately the same game, although all the text is in Japanese. But I've played through it so many times, I don't think I need any of the clues or hints at this point. So sit back and enjoy, and here we go with part 1 of the Castlevania II walkthrough. Okay, here we go. This is the Famicom Disk System loading screen. If you don't put a disc in, you get this little animation that tells you to set the disc card or put the disc card in, basically. And you get a little animation with Mario and Luigi kind of fighting with each other. So this is Castlevania II that we're putting in here, which is called Dracula II in Japan. And it is a disc system game, so you always get this little licensing screen when the disc system loads. And part of the game is on one side of the disc, part of it is on the other side of the disc. This is before they had the MMC chips. This thing just says loading right here, or something to that extent. So once it loads, we're going to get a cool title screen, which I like better than the NES version. And that is the real loading time. Love the blood that drips down from the logo. And for whatever reason, the story is in English, but they changed it because of a couple words in here. So step into the shadows of the Hell House. You've arrived back here at Transylvania on business to destroy forever the curse of the evil Count, Dracula. And then we're going to start the game. So unlike the NES version, you don't have to deal with passwords. It does save the game for you. Although, the funny thing is, I'm going to do this in a single run, so it's actually not going to save any of my progress. It only saves when you game over and you select the save option. So, we're not going to actually have that opportunity. And for some reason, the copyright symbol is also available if your name has that. Okay, so this is real loading time. I'm actually recording this on a Analogue NT Mini, connected to a Famicom Disk System. I'm not using my AV Famicom, and the reason why, I'll tell you in a minute here, but let's just get the game started for a second. That in-between text was to tell you to flip the disc over. So now it's actually loading the game, and this is one of the frustrating parts of the disk system. All right, so we start with 3 lives. We want to keep those lives because of the hearts and progression system. I'm not sure what this says, but in the NES version, he tells you the first thing to do in this town is to buy a white crystal. There's 3 things you want to get before we leave here. The goal is to beat the game in under 7 days game time, and you already start day 1 halfway through the day, which is a pain in the butt if you're keeping track of time. So here's the white crystal. It costs 50 hearts, which is all the hearts we have. So the time is days, hours, minutes. E is your experience, L is your current level, which is your strength, and hearts is your currency. And also ammunition for some weapons, like the Sacred Flame and things like that. Before we leave here, we need 2 other items. We need the holy water, which is in that door just to the right of where we're standing right now. And if possible, the Thorn Whip. So this is the day to night transition. It's actually a little faster in this version. And we're going to kill a bunch of these zombies. We're just going to walk back and forth for some hearts. As you can see, they give you a couple hearts each. And we're just going to skip past this a little bit because this is kind of time consuming. So that's just the goal, is just walk back and forth like this until you have hopefully 100 hearts. Okay, so here we go. We skipped a little bit of time here. And now it's daytime again. And luckily, we actually got enough for the Thorn Whip, which is 100, plus the Holy Water, which is 50. Now, the Thorn Whip isn't necessary, but it just makes things a lot easier. And it's basically just a gamble whether you'll get enough hearts at night to get this or not. Most of the time I don't. I was actually surprised this time that I did. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to grab the Holy Water. And I'm walking down the stairs here because if you miss that jump, and it's a little bit of a long jump, you basically die if you miss that jump. So you have to be really careful, and I just didn't want to risk it this early. So the reason I'm playing on not playing on the original Famicom hardware is because I have an AV Famicom. And the thing about the AV Famicom is that it's not tuned correctly for the extra sound channels on the disk system. It's actually way too loud, and it drowns out some of the other sound effects, and it just doesn't sound right for disk system. So I have my AVS, or not my AVS, the Analogue NT Mini. I have this set up tuned to an original Famicom, so all the levels have been kind of calibrated for that. So that's why I'm just playing it on this. Also, the quality is a lot better because I only have composite out of the AV Famicom. So the goal in this screen, you can have a lot of problems in this screen and die a lot. If you wait for these mermen to jump up, you just have to just rush through this area and just kill them as you go. Skip the hearts because it's just going to cause problems. We're going to take the upper path for now. We're not going to go to the town to the south of here. We're going to skip that entirely for now. That's where we're going to get the chain whip later. We don't need it for right now. We want to go straight to the first level, and then we're going to go straight to the second level after that. And that's a tough jump too. And if you fall into that purple, that will damage you. We're just going to wait for this merman. And we're almost up to the first area. And at this point, it really doesn't matter if we get hearts or not. So the loading times happen when you walk into towns and walk into dungeons. So here's level 1. The first manor. I believe it's Brahms Manor. I don't know the names of them. So here's our first level. And the reason we need that white crystal is you see this is impossible to get to. We're just going to turn on the white crystal, and hey, there's a hidden block that we couldn't get to before. And some of these jumps are tough. That's probably one of my biggest complaints in this game, is some of the jumping is really, really annoying. That jump is tough too. You have to be hanging most of the way off the block. Now, a lot of people complain about having to throw the holy water. The nice thing about the Famicom version that I'm playing is that there's no sound effects, so you don't have to hear that annoying ka-chee noise every time you throw it. But the amount of blocks in this game that are fake blocks, there's actually only a few of them here and there. Now, they're in very annoying places, but there's only a couple of them in the game, so you don't have to worry most of the time. And there's 2 of them coming up here. One of them isn't too bad. The second one, if you screw up, literally you have to start the dungeon over. And again, this is the problem with the jumping, is you have to be so close to the edge. I kept this in the video because I wanted to show how frustrating this can be. And this isn't the worst of them. There's one more jump that's absolutely frustrating. And those guys are annoying because the knockback, if you don't time it right, they'll just knock you back down and you're trying all the jumps again. Alright, so we're coming up pretty soon on the first set of fake blocks. It's right up here, right in front of us. So you can see my holy water went through that, but 3 blocks in is a real block. So if you miss that, that's kind of like a beginner's trap. You just go back like a very small ways. The next one is a real bad one. So what we're going to do now is we need to get an oak stake. We're going to get 2 of them, but you can only hold 1 at a time. So we're going to use the first oak stake and then use the second oak stake, get a second one after we use the first one. It costs 50 for an oak stake. It's always this guy hanging around the mansion. So we bought an oak stake, and now we're going to go stake the orb. But first, I'm only going to get 1 of these, just to kind of show you some of the secrets in this game. On this level, at the end of the corridor, we can break some blocks with our holy water. And here's one of the secret books that gives us a clue. And I'm not sure what this clue is. I don't even remember any of the real clues in the English language version. But I'm not going to need them for this run. But here's the thing about clues. And the manual even says this. The books will give you good clues. Some of the villagers lie to you. Okay, there we go. See, if you fall down there, you literally have to start the level over because that takes you back to the beginning. But yeah, a lot of the villagers will lie to you. So you have to take things with a grain of salt. Some of them are stupid lies, like the graveyard duck one. But one guy lies to you and tells you to give the garlic to the oarsman. But you actually need to give it to a different person. The oarsman doesn't want the garlic. So they do lie and deceive you, which can be frustrating, but it's like you just have to take everything everyone says with a grain of salt. So now we have the Rib of Dracula, which also works as a full shield. So I guess it's his whole rib cage. And we're on our way out. So we're done with 1. And we're going to go straight to 2 with 1 stop along the way. We're going to get the Holy Flame, or the Sacred Flame. Now, before I left that dungeon, I did a little bit of grinding for hearts. I got enough to buy 2 sets of laurels, garlic, because we're going to need those for our trip back. And this town we're going to next is the only place that has laurels and garlic on this side of the map. So we need to have this before we get to the town. So we need 150, which we have. Those spiders are really annoying. Actually, I almost never get through this area without taking a hit by these guys, but I actually just lucked out. Their pattern was okay. And then I get hit here. All right, this room has the Sacred Flame. It's down at the bottom to the left. And I want to get there before the day-night cycle. And the reason why is because all these enemies that are on screen right now, these enemies, when it turns to nighttime, like there it is, when it turns to nighttime, they retain their stats from daytime. They're stronger at night, but if they're already on screen, they're still the daytime versions. And the times are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is daytime, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. is nighttime. So as you can see, we're a day and a half in, and we're working our way to the next town. And there's 3 things we need here. We need the laurels, we need garlic. We don't actually need garlic, but it's nice to have for some items that are going to help us out. And we also need a blue crystal. Without the blue crystal, you can't get into level 2. And as you can see, this area has gotten a lot tougher. It takes several hits now to kill the skeletons. If I didn't have the Thorn Whip, if I just had the Leather Whip, it would take 3 hits, I believe. And as you can see, I'm starting to gain experience again. Areas that are too weak for your current level will literally not give you experience points. And you have to pick up hearts to gain the experience, so not all kills will give you experience points, which is, I think it's a little bit of a flaw in the game because it's just extra grinding. Okay, there's my first death. And that's okay. You retain your hearts when you die. It's when you lose all your lives and continue that you lose all your hearts and experience progress for that current level. And I believe you can get all the way up to level 6. Level 0 through level 6 are your levels. I've never actually maxed out my level before. Now I'm here at night. You can't go into the houses, unfortunately. So I'm just going to wait this out until daytime because there's nothing I can do here, and you have to have the crystal to get to level 2. And that's a glitch. You can throw those all you want, and it doesn't work. So it's daytime, and these people are all hiding from Dracula. And they've like boarded up, like walled out their basements, and are just hiding down here. So the story is kind of interesting for this game. Basically, when you kill Dracula in the first Castlevania game, he puts a curse on Simon Belmont, and the land as well. That he basically, Simon will die in 7 years' time, and Dracula will rise again when Simon is killed. Oh, here's the graveyard. This is what we need the garlic for. So 1 piece of garlic. We're going to drop it in the graveyard. And this guy appears. And he's going to give us the dagger, which is a nice throwing weapon. You can see it right there. If we can get it equipped. Yeah, so you just throw it like that. So Simon has this curse on him where once he dies in 7 years, Dracula rises. So the only way to break the curse is to bring back Dracula himself and kill him with his own hands. So that's what this game is all about. And again, we have another guy that's boarded things up. This will be the Laurels. All these guys are hiding from Dracula. His minions are just roaming the land. I think that's a graphical. I mean, maybe it's not a graphical glitch. It looked like a graphical glitch on the previous page. And we want 2 of them because we don't ever want to waste time having to get more laurels. So 4 laurels will make it all the way to the last mansion. And in the last mansion, you can pick up some laurels to come back because there's a very long path. Now, these gray guys are the guys with the crystals. He's going to trade me a blue crystal for my white crystal. So with the blue crystal, we can get into level 2. So we're never coming back to this place again. We're just going to head back a little bit to get to level 2. If you go to the right into the graveyard, there's just a wall that you can't pass. You can get through from the other direction, but there's no way to get go farther right. So these are the stairs we passed a little while ago before we went to town. And this is going to lead us to level 2. Got this nice little cave that we're going through. And you want to take the top path because it's a lot easier, especially with these little eyeball things following you. They're just really annoying. And if you're trying to do platforming, like really complex platforming with instant death areas below you, with this thing following you, you're going to have a bad time. Holy water does very little damage, but it does stun lock enemies, which is nice. Alright, so here we go. Equip the blue crystal and kneel by the lake. Now, on my TV, when I don't have underscan turned on, you can't see that block at the bottom. But if you're looking on an HD TV, or you can see the overscan area, you can see the clue that this is where you're supposed to go. And here we are at level 2. And you gotta watch out for that fire that those bones make. Because it lasts for a few seconds and it does hurt you. Now, you can't make this jump. You're gonna have to go around and fall down from the top to reach that spot. I just walked over there to kind of show you what that is. This dungeon is actually one of the shortest of them. It's really, really quick if you know where to go. So if you start going up from there, you'll just spend an hour just lost in this place. But if you know to do that, this gets really easy. Now this spot's really annoying. This is why I got the knife or the dagger. Because we can just do this. There we go. And we're just going to continue on. We have to get an oak stake. Now, this jump here, which I'm going to show you, these 4 jumps, I think, are the hardest jumps to make in the entire game. And I spent tons of time jumping back and forth like this. Like, there's so little space. If you're not pixel perfect on this, you will hit the block above you, and you'll fall all the way down to the bottom. So, you know, you just have to practice that. And as you can see, we're underneath the lake. All right, there we are. This is the second item. This is the Heart of Dracula. We need to show this to the oarsman to get across to level 3. So he'll take us to a town if we don't have it, but if we have this, he'll take us somewhere else. And then we're just going to leave this place. So we're on our way out. That's it for part 1. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with part 2, where we'll go through the next couple dungeons. And then part 3, on Halloween, we will finish up the game.